welcome to St John's. I'm Steve, I'm the vicar, I'm married to the lovely Liz, and I'm the father to 3 amazing girls, Grace, Alice and Lily. I'm also the owner of 2 crazy pointer dogs, Digger and Sid, but most of all I'm a beloved son of God. I'm called to be a follower, a disciple, an apprentice of Jesus. And over the next few weeks I'm going to try to unpack, explore, question and take us on a journey of what that means. What it means to walk, live, breathe and feel and be in a life in the way of Jesus. The way of Jesus has the potential to change us in deep ways that we thought might be impossible, to break habits, create community and reframe our stories in ways that's not superficial or skin deep, but deep and real transformation from the inside out. Someone once said to me, one of the longest journeys we have to change as human beings is 18 inches. And 18 inches doesn't seem that far. It's about that. But that 18 inches is from our head, where knowledge sits, where we might know the right thing to do. But 18 inches is that need that we have to travel from our head to our heart to see real transformation to a life of Jesus. This kind of change starts, centers on and ends with this man of Nazareth, who the Bible describes with such names as the Son of God, the Prince of Peace, Messiah, Christ anointed King. That's all true. If I were a first century Jew and were gathering in the synagogues, the Jewish place of worship on a Sabbath, the category, the adjective, the title you had given Jesus, if you encountered him there, would simply have been rabbi. Rabbi or teacher. Rabbis would travel from their town to town, instructing their students how to put on their yoke, literally the way they interpret the scripture. Jesus was this young, brilliant, revolutionary, anti-establishment rabbi, teacher from an unpopular, occupied, downtrodden part of Israel, the most unlikely of places for a movement that would change the world to begin. 90 times Jesus is spoken about in the Gospels and given a title. The story of his life is the story of the Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke and John. And 60 times that title, that name they call him is Rabbi. It was important for them to see Jesus as their teacher. It's vital to us. To walk the way of Jesus is to know Jesus as our teacher.
As Jesus passed along the Sea of Galilee, he saw Simon and his brother Andrew casting a net into the sea, for they were fishermen. And Jesus said to them, "Follow me, and I will make you fish for people." And immediately they left their nets and followed him. Jesus went out again beside the sea. The whole crowd gathered around him, and he taught them. As he was walking along, he saw Levi, son of Alphaeus, sitting at the tax booth, and he said to him, "Follow me." And he got up and he followed him. He called the crowd with his disciples and said to them, "If any want to become my followers, let them deny themselves and take up their crosses and follow me."
Follow me. Do you see the pattern? The pattern is that Jesus time and time again asks people as a teacher to follow him. The Hebrew word is talmidin, disciple, follower, student, or best translated, I think, is apprentice. It's a call to a fisherman, the ordinary workman, to tax collectors who were seen as sinners, but it's just every single person. An invite to be an apprentice. This was the invite that was the highest call in the education system at the time. It was for the best of the best. It wasn't for fishermen nor collaborators as tax collectors were seen. It wasn't open to everyone. But this Jesus, this teacher, revolutionarily opens up the education system to all. It's like Oxford and Cambridge opening their doors open to everyone. You see, the education system in the first century Israel began at the Beth Sefer, open to all up to the age of 12 for the basic maths, the first books of the Torah, or we would call the Old Testament. And then females wouldn't be allowed to continue in their education. And then males would make a decision whether to go into the family business to be a carpenter or a fisherman. But if they showed talent, you might go on to the Bet Talmud, literally translated as the house of learning. You'd pay to be taught the whole of the Old Testament off by heart. My goodness, I can't think of some of the books in the Bible and think whole of it. Then if you were a great student, a tiny minority of the cleverest, most well-connected elite, then you might might be interviewed by a rabbi about your work ethic, your drive, your commitment, your talent. And if your preferred rabbi teacher thought you had a potential spark of genius, then the best of the best would become Talmudim, apprentices. And every Talmudim's goal in life was to be with their teacher in order to become like their teacher, in order to do what their teacher did. There was a phrase in the first century, to be covered in the dust of your rabbis, to be so close that you were covered in their dust, their dirt, that lived and breathed and became like them. In an age that we live in now, it seems so different and so alien, because we're told time and time again that that we're unique as a snowflake, where we can find our own truth, where we worship how free we are as individuals, and I am who I am reigns. It's so alien to think that today we would orientate our lives, surrender them to a way of Jesus that asks us to put our life goals as to be with our rabbi, Jesus, to become like our rabbi, Jesus, and do what our rabbi did, Jesus. You see, Jesus was the rabbi that ended all rabbis. He was the one to follow. It was an invitation then, and it's been an invitation throughout the ages, and the invitation that is open to you and me today. I don't think we're called to be Christians, I would argue. Christians used only 3 times in the Bible, and it's generally a negative term. 268 times, his followers, his disciples, his students, his apprentices are called Talmudim. The Gospels are littered with an invitation to be his apprentice, his Talmudim, or be part of the crowd that reject him. It's not a hobby or a quick fix. It's a lifelong direction, full of commitment, all in. Are you going to follow him and experience life to its full, no matter the circumstances? Or are you going to keep him at arm's length and worship the world with its fear and anxiety, drowning in its circumstances? Freedom or slavery, joy or despair, peace or anxiety, found or loss, life or death. Jesus doesn't care what you've done, what you think you've done, what shame or guilty you might be carrying, what baggage you might have, what questions, what doubts. He cares that you want to know him personally, intimately, and fully, the way of Jesus. With apprentices sold out to this way, anything is possible. Dallas Willard sums it up. The greatest issue facing the world today, with all its heartbreaking needs, is whether those who by profession or culture are identified as Christians will become disciples, students, apprentices, practitioners of Jesus Christ, steadily learning from him how to live the life of the kingdom of heaven into every corner of human existence. This way, the way of Jesus. In the coming weeks, we're going to explore together on a journey I think might change your life, to make the 18-inch journey from your head to your heart, to know Jesus, the way, the truth, and the life. The way of Jesus.